I mean, they've only been on the game since May, so he could actually afford to be 100% Astra.
But you know, this was kind of expected. I really wanted to see it as well. But so far, as Sean, they're going with what they know.
Yeah. Both teams going tried and true here. CNED going with the Sage, Bone Cold going
are
with
they
the
though?
Okay.
I'm seeing a Sova. Am I the only one seeing Ross and Sova?
Pora picked Viper.
Yeah, Pora's playing Viper.
Oh my
on this
God,
one.
And it's my dream. Let's go.
Wait.
Let's
Izzy
go.
on the Jet now?
God.
Okay, no
my
raise,
gosh.
Sean. No raise, but Izzy.
Dude, he's not playing Sage.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Drop the mic right now. I expect the changes with this.
Wow.
Pora, not playing Sentinel and playing Viper. Thank you, Jesus,
my
for hearing my prayers.
Gosh.
This is incredible. Well, the agents are in now. I'm so grateful for the two of you on the Destiny, but I cannot wait to see what Tom and Mitch think about this.
Well, certainly a couple of surprises there, Tom. I mean, I don't really know where to start. I mean, we got 4 players all going with different agents, but we don't even get time to sit and dwell on that. We're jumping into map number 1, kicking off Masters 3 strong with ACEND versus SuperMassive Blaze, a rematch of the Challengers game, and we start it the same way here on Bind. SuperMassive Blaze with a very different composition this time around.
Yeah, the Desk don't get much time to talk. We don't either, because I imagine but it's going to be a relatively quick pistol round, but the changes they've made, the first one I want to point out is Turco on Sky. I don't think he's ever played Sky before, so this is something that they were prepping, they were planning. They knew they were up against Ascend, they knew this is their best map. They have prepared very well for this matchup and come out with something completely different.
They're going to come in. They're coming in flooding the map with information. Russ and Turco playing those Sky and Sova comms can be dangerous. Already on the site here, Ascend are going to be grabbing the plants. This is a strategy we've seen plenty over in EMEA at least. Coming out of bad, putting the wall down, and grabbing that post-plant position. Bone Cold trying to be sneaky up in the corner, but it looks like it's going to be a very delayed retake from SuperMassive Blaze. Bone Cold just jumped on top of the wall. He's a madman.
Yeah, losing that early player could be a little bit more of a problem. They need to almost give space. Oh, what's happened? He's got a little bit lost in the mix, and somehow this has come back into a 3v2 scenario. The time ticking. They're just defusing. It's left on the Starzo, but he finds himself all 3. What a start from Ascend. He just gave them a few warning shots beforehand, Mitch.
Oh, yeah. Then the right clicks were coming in all day long. Wow. Starzo getting her hearts jumping a little bit, but coming out with the pistol now. Ascend have that 1-0 advantage. We're starting this map out in identical form. I mean, last time around that they played this, it was 13-6 in favor of Ascend. We had the pistol go their way and the follow-up, and SuperMassive Blaze, who again have chosen to start on the defense, really weren't able to get the ball running last time around.
No, and they're playing up against a team who have an incredible attack on this map. Like, Ascend have demolished the best of the best when it comes to Bind, at least within their region. This is aggressive, though. They're almost just going to be feeding into killers in the early stages of this round. The B site completely open, and obviously Mitch are trying to make this one at least a little bit costly.
And look at the value of ult orbs over on Ascend. They love farming up these rounds. Every single player is going to be bringing value to the table. In fact, Seeker is going to be online coming into round 3, and it might not be a showstopper or an orbital strike, but it certainly is something that can help out in making these bonus rounds that little bit more viable in certain situations.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be the Prime Gaming Flawless coming through. Definitely not going to be the most exciting replay you're going to see today, especially after the pistol round, but it's one where, realistically, keeping it as clean as possible now gives them everything they need to go into this round, and that's the thing. Seekers is one of those ultimates that in a bonus round can be super valuable. You can spot out any maybe weak pieces, get yourself an extra rifle here, and then it can be a real game changer for them.
I most definitely can. Now, I'm spotting out those Astra stars in towards mid, but they're not really slowing anything down for Ascend, quickly gaining control over Hookah. And as they come up through long, they lose a player. Sure, Izzy is low, but that's a trade that they're more than happy to make. Now the numbers thinned out on site, but still able to keep the kills going their way. Turco, caught by the flash, is going to be taken down, and now it gets dangerous, Tom. They can actually retrieve these weapons on site and have a much better chance of closing it out with the spike plants pretty much uncontested.
It's weird. It looked like SMB almost got baited in a little bit by those extra rotations and pulled things back at least a little bit more with the fact that they went through the TP and managed to still have 2 players on site. The res, though, has changed things a little bit. The perfect scenario for CNED is he gets kills, he gets a res, and now they have themselves a man advantage.
Exactly. That post-plant res coming through puts Ascend way in the lead. the man advantage, the weapons retrieved. This was a bonus round, one that SuperMassive Blaze wanted to get away with in relatively flawless fashion, and yet they struggled to even save a weapon. Izzy running for the hills towards the A site. This is a guaranteed third for ACEND.
Yeah, big round. Again, Ultimate's playing a decent part, but it's funny. I think that the setup from SuperMassive Blaze was actually very good. Like, they had the 3-man stack initially. They had the bait TP, because in your mind you go, okay, maybe you're only playing a couple on B. One's gone through the teleporter. There's only one left. But the close angle was actually really well played. It was just those trades from ACEND. I think that's something that they might do better than anyone. It's just going into the site as a unit and trading out those initial frags. And as I said, the res definitely helped.
Yeah, Starzo's flash coming out of Hookah really just bought them all that space. The whole point of having those Vandals on range was that they could take those fights and be able to really get themselves the advantage. And instead, they end up getting destroyed. And Tom, I'll say one thing. This is probably the best tech pause I've seen.
Yeah. There's almost a part of me that goes, have they added in a tech pause just to almost show this off? Like, I feel like some of the production guys go, can we just put this one? Can we just put this one in just to like almost show off how cool all of these little AR things are?
Yeah.
I know that there's
the spark floating up in the middle.
Still other things coming throughout the day as well, which just makes me even more excited because we've got a sneak peek over the last few days, and I feel like even we haven't seen everything yet.
And it's so nice. Little floating spark up there, middle of the screen. We've got the waves down below, but hopefully the players will be ready to kick back off in just a moment. I heard it shouldn't take too long. A 3-0 start for ACEND, though. This is going to be a real tough thing for SuperMassive Blaze to swallow. Because remember, they're making these changes, drastic changes. Like we said, Turco playing an agent he has never played in an official before. You do that when you know, hey, everything we did last time sucked. It didn't work. And they didn't even think they could remedy it in time, so they start to try and surprise ACEND, take some things out that they're not expecting. And so far, in that first buy round, we didn't really see anything from it. It didn't break ACEND's attack at all.
No, I think as well that a lot of the other choices that we've seen are players almost going back to a comfort pick, like Izzy switching back over to a Jet, when we know that he has played Raze on this map a couple of times. Obviously on the attack side, Raze has always been quite an integral part of like taking Hookah control, so we're going to have to see how they adapt to that. I don't think we were surprised by Astra at all. That's been something that Brave has been more than competent on. And then obviously the switch from Sky to Sova for Russ is, again, Sova is an agent which he has played almost religiously, in this team at least, although going back even further, he was also on a Jet. So we've seen this team adapt a lot in the past. Like coming into this roster, we almost just went Russ and Izzy? How's that going to work? But it was like someone taking a back seat, and they're more than willing to switch up their roles. It's early days in this map, but the problem is there are not many, if any, teams that beat ACEND on this map. So I think although they've changed a lot, although they've come up with a few cool new ideas, or they've switched to agents which I think are incredibly strong on this map, I still put it firmly in ACEND's favor.
The one thing that I'll give them is that when it comes to those anti-eco rounds, you don't tend to put your full strap book out there, right? This is where you're playing much more conservative. Because, for example, if a lot of your rounds are going to be based around pushing up through Bath, you're not going to do that when they have Spectres in their hands. They can force those close range duels, take the number advantages, and then find the trades after. So I think the way they played it was certainly a good structure for an anti-eco. The only problem is now they have to show us what they've got right away, pretty much off the bat. This coming up in this round is going to be an eco out of the most likely, but after that, they don't really get any room to breathe because ACEND will have built up so much economy. We saw that Prime Gaming flawless in just the second round. They got away with the third with pretty much all their players alive thanks to that res. Their economy is stacked.
I actually base my look off SMB. He's a beautiful man. Or MBS, sorry.
MBS, yeah.
I've said the
SMB.
wrong letters.
That's the wrong team, even.
I would love to look at the guys on SMB. Like those guys, they've got beautiful hair. But unfortunately, I'm going to be jealous of everyone. It seems like that's the thing. Everybody goes in for hair and makeup every morning. I have to hear that, and I just get makeup.
Yeah, I've never seen a man get makeup on the back of his head, but with the stunt you pulled earlier, it's a good job they did. Huh?
To color it in. I was saying that they need to get like one of those sort of like circular paint brushes that just goes up walls.
Oh yeah.
It will just take them a lot less time.
Paint it on.
Instead, it's just like little taps on the top of my head. We're there for at least 4 hours before every shot. I was actually here since 2 a.m. because I had to get my makeup done. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, I'm dedicated to my craft.
That's impressive. Yeah, they just looked at me and said, nah, don't bother. It's beyond salvage at this point.
Put a little bit on the eyes. Everyone will look at that.
Yeah,
Let's give him a really bright jumper so that nobody notices.
People look elsewhere. Exactly. But man, there's so much to talk about in this series, though, thankfully. Obviously, we're starting on Barn, as we've seen. And with this tech pause coming through, I'm wondering whether that's going to put Supermassive Blaze down in the dumps. And you come out of a tech pause, and it's not like, okay, guys, let's go now. It's like, oh, well, now it's time for an eco. You can see ACEND, though, certainly not having any problems when it comes to the morale department.
Yeah, obviously, for anybody wondering, they're currently discussing strategy. Like that's what this is. They're trying to work it out by hand movement.
It's taking way too long to get that one synced up, guys. Come on.
Imagine if you're on the other team and you're just looking at that like, really?
Yeah, we're sat here trying to think about what we need to do. These guys are just trying to do a wave.
We beat you last time, and you're doing this? Come on.
They beat them in the series, but this time around, obviously, they're not going to get split out as a second map. That ban right off the bat was certainly a good decision when it came to ACEND. So now they're going to get ASCEND up as a second map. One of my least favorite things to do, cast ASCEND on ASCEND, because it gets very confusing.
Yeah, and the thing is, obviously, we're talking about the top competition when it comes to EMEA, but their results haven't been particularly good. Like they've been playing against Gambit, who are a phenomenal team, took them to overtime, solid result, but at the same time you're now looking at a different beast completely. We talk about Turkish ACEND as being, I would say, the best in the world. Like I would say the amount of teams that are good on that map from that region, and the only ones who have managed to beat them on that map are Turkish teams as well. Like let's put it this way, Gambit, very good ACEND team. We almost mentioned that just a moment ago.
We did.
They SMB 13-1 Gambit the last time they played that map. So it's one of those things where you kind of have to look at it and go that I would give this map heavily to ACEND and the next map heavily to SMB.
Well, Tom, it looks like we're ready to get back into it. The Turkish throwdown starting off yet again, but unfortunately, it won't be an action-packed round, or at least on paper, it should be.
He has a rifle.
That's what I was going to say, right? Supermassive Blaze not going to be delving deep into their pockets for this one. This round should be a moneymaker for ACEND, but when you look at Supermassive Blaze and you look at what they're investing, Izzy is really gambling on himself, getting a couple of kills and an ult orb so he can have that Blade Storm out in the next round. Let's see if he's going to get any value out of that.
It seems like they've also used Pora as a bit of a contingency plan, because one of the other things I wanted to bring up is the fact that I want to see the operator in hand for Izzy. It's a complete game changer. He's someone who can get far more aggressive when he has that weapon in hand. It does look like, though, they're going to use the remainder of the players who don't currently have the weaponry as a bit of a bait and switch. So they'll take the initial shot, they'll take the bullet for their teammate if anybody goes in that direction. However, well, they're not.
Yeah, they're looking at pressure over towards the A site for now. ACEND still leaving the door open, leaving themselves a couple of options in the early stages. A wall bang onto Pora, and that might even have been through a couple of Viper walls at that. That's not something you see all too often.
I'm still confused as to what he just did. Zeke's just going to go blast packing through and find himself another, and well, unfortunately the nice little bait and switch they had is instead going to turn out from a full retake from behind with one gun. Not looking good.
Yeah, they know full well that this is a flank play. You saw the markers go down. Bit of a risky fight for Killez. We got the Spectre to play with, and there's potentially a rifle to be picked up afterwards for him. They're going to let Bone Cold do the legwork, making his way up behind while the distraction is in. They're spraying away, and here's Bone Cold farming them up. A collateral to close that one out, and very little loss with Killez being able to pick up a rifle indeed. He grabs himself a Vandal. ACEND have just made bank.
Yeah, and a solid start. One of the questions that a lot of people had is CNED going to play as well outside of his bedroom? I think that was something that people were wondering. Well, he's 8-1 in the first 4 rounds, and currently with over 400 ACS. So it's going all right. I think he might be able to cope.
Yeah, it looks like he's feeling relatively comfortable. We're not even seeing him, pull out that operator.
He's not even on his favorite agent either.
Look at the cash, man. Look how many credits are stacked up. Now, Izzy coming in with the operator dropped over. He's one away from Bladestorm as well. This could be a strong round for him, but there's no opponents to take down. Bone Cold is faking out Hookah, making some presence, but it's the A site that ACEND are looking keenly towards. They spotted that early flank that came through from Supermassive Blaze in the previous round when they pushed down through Hookah. Now they're hoping that that B pressure is going to get the same reaction out of the A players so they can punish them. But because of how advanced Izzy is, how far pushed down he is, that's not going to happen. And so Supermassive Blaze will just sit down, stay calm.
Yeah. It's surprising, though, that I think the flash has almost baited them into keeping 3 players on the B site, even though there is currently nobody there. The rotation will come in at least a little bit later, but Zeke is already making his move.
Yeah, they're going to make their way onto the side here. Zeke trying to backstab as they go for the plant. Position still being watched.
Spike planted.
Still being stared at. He can't really make a move just yet, but as he swings into Pora, that's the opening kill for them. Spike down, ACEND with full control. The only thing that can potentially help Supermassive Blaze out, we got Izzy rotating in, operator in hand, and of course the Seekers to reveal a couple of these players.
And Brave the furthest forward. He's going to try and use a little bit of utility to try and hold them back, but the time has been ticking and they really haven't got much control whatsoever. The peek in is almost just the bait, as they also have Zeke alongside, and I wonder if they're just going to have to back out of this one. The clock too far gone, a solid flash at least to catch off another, but Zeke is just going ham. Izzy has to try and run away to save the operator, and he should at least get one. No! Zeke actually hits that?
He even gets him in the end, man. So that's going to be the operator save. The complete punish over Supermassive Blaze's buy. And hey, I don't really blame him.
No?
Bringing the op into the next round, I mean, with the way they're playing so far, they do not need it. And they'll be up against a weak buy from Supermassive Blaze. Bladestorm is online for Izzy. But other than that, I don't expect to see much committed.
No, and at the moment it's looking pretty bleak for Supermassive Blaze. Like, this started off, as said, as the map that we firmly favor. I think that's going to be the case for the first 2 within this series. In fact, I expect to be going to a 3rd unless ACEND really do have something up their sleeve. But it's more the mana, like a single opening kill, an after plant, and then it really didn't look like that round was going to slip away at any point.
We had a deep flash put down towards the start of this round. Be long, getting them information, garnering them something to work with. Bladestorm's being spotted. I'm surprised that they're still moving in. Izzy takes his moment to strike, and Zeke will be dropped. Looking to support his teammates on long. They may well have stopped ACEND from going for any sort of B aggression at this point. And there's a rifle there to be retrieved inside of Hookah, but actually I better hold on to that thought because ACEND are still moving up through A, and Izzy is still picking them off.
Baited out the res. It's going to be the peek in, though. More than prepared, and he misses the knives. It slipped away. It was looking so good. He's just wanted the 2 players. Somehow, this round keeps swinging back and forth, and they've got an aggressive position of Pora. He's so good with this Sheriff. Never missed that initial shot, and might just be able to get around the corner. He's not even going to be spammed either, so he gets to escape.
Yeah, they're trying to hunt him down and got up in front of that Sage wall, just guaranteeing now that their back is clear, but they have to work on getting this Viper out of position. They don't know exactly where he is, and in fact, he's willing to commit the ultimate and let it just die down, holding the positions to stop them from planting. And with 20 seconds left, they need to make a move. Killez now low, 1 hit from this Sheriff, and Bora's going to be able to take the first, possibly even the second. 13 seconds as the final shot rings out. Supermassive Blaze are on the board.
A beautiful round from them, especially. Like the Bladestorm initially, but it's also just Pora with the Sheriff. He currently has 4 kills, 3 of them with the Sheriff. Yep. And the thing is, when they were walking around that corner, I was 100% confident he was at least going to get one. This man with the pistol is just unbelievable. Even ends up missing the first player. But I also like the fact that he just uses the ultimate just to run away, because he covers himself and then just goes. It's not something that you'd normally see a player do, because, well, he basically just wasted an ult just to escape. But it's worth it in that scenario to stay alive.
It's the percentage play, and it's so smart. That's one of the things you definitely won't see in your ranked, right? You try to take the fight to 50-50. Here comes a Poison Orb blocking out towards Lambs. ACEND really want to put some pressure towards Supermassive Blaze's A defense, and you can see the utility that's being put out on the other side. You've got Astra Stars used up, a drone making its way in towards Bath. They are very worried about this crunch in towards A, but ACEND are slowing it down yet again, conscious that there could be a flank underway. And look at where CNED is. The man is in their spawn watching for flanks. The timing not quite working out for him. Izzy is comfortable enough in not over-aggressing, but the control that he's garnered allows for the rotate. The 4-man stack on this A site as they push through, and Zeke is up with the showstopper to take down the first. The trades come in thick and fast, and that will be an easy A site, at least you would imagine.
Yeah, Turco, I don't know how he gets anything done from this scenario. He needs to catch someone on the fadeaway, and well, that's exactly what he does. This actually starts the rotation, but I think they're expecting Izzy to be coming in from behind. Multiple players already retaking that control. If he can kill off Viper, maybe he can at least remove that utility and hits the pixel shot to turn it into a 2v2.
Absolutely massive. Post plant no longer to be played with, but unfortunately Turco falls. He really needed a pick in that situation. Now, all that's left to do is to save yet again for Izzy. That operator too valuable to throw away on a 1v2 with such limited time. And we will see another round for ACEND. They have bounced right back. In fact, it looks like they're even trying to hunt him down, but not going the right way.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a change on this A site. Like that is now every single time. Like that round, they basically had a full stack because of Izzy's position. They pushed him all the way up. He had the control, watching for any sort of rotation. They put every other player at least either in a rotational spot or on the site itself. And they still lose pretty much every single duel. Like, I think Poor is the only person to get a kill in this execution. That's really surprising, considering ACEND basically walked straight into the trap.
And there's so many factors for ACEND there that made that execute into a 4-man stack look so good. The wall that they put down to allow a player to peek on top of the box as they swing around. The Viper wall that they had alongside that, as well as the smoke in heaven, means Izzy couldn't really get the aggressive picks he might have wanted. This time around, that's not the case. He tries to take the boom bot and legs up Bone Cold. Good damage done, but Supermassive Blaze now have to make it work in a 4v4. Their star player of Izzy, their big fragger, no longer with them.
Yeah, and he, well, you've got a couple of players with a few weaker weapons into this round. Now, in the last ACEND basically committed a lot of their valuable ultimates. So we're still in a spot where realistically a Hunter's Fury could be put into play just to get this one over the line for Supermassive Blaze. The problem though, and again, this is what ACEND have actually done so well, they've just slowed down. They've not been over-aggressive. They've not tried to play off a lot of those opening picks that they've been finding. They're just ready for their opponents to try and get a little bit more aggressive and try and catch them with their pants down.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to do. You saw that flash play picking up the poison orb, but okay, they have the wall. The wall is going up to allow them to back out. Stars are going to tank a little bit of this snake bite. As he makes his way in towards long, we're going to get a full execute out of this. Smoke's coming down. Orb taking good molly. Good slow. Poor is in trouble. He tries to get out of the corner, but there's nowhere to run. Seekers confirm they're all here. Good flash, but the follow-up from Bone Cold. He keeps on connecting on 2 HP. The man has survived, and the 2v2 commences. ACEND still looking to get that plant in play.
Yeah, I'm surprised more didn't come from the Hunter's Fury. Like, they did a little bit of damage, but the fact is one of the players was actually stuck. Brave, though, has come through, and it's onto this man once again. CNED to try and clutch it up, but it'll be Rust to take it away. A big round from Supermassive Blaze. Again, an investment of multiple ultimates, but at least they've got a second round on the board.
Well, that's it. They're grinding these rounds out. It's feeling very reminiscent of the previous game. Just a consistent string of rounds for ACEND, with Supermassive Blaze every now and then picking up their one. But they're in close fashion. They're in these 2v2s where combined, I think ACEND had like 75 HP, and they only barely get it across the line. I think CNED being up on top for 1 second extra, and that's a round loss. These are not the way, this is not the way that you want to be winning rounds.
Yeah, well, the Red Bull clutches, that's not what you really want to be seeing. So I am a little bit worried still for the side of Supermassive Blaze, because again, they're going to come in with some weaker weaponry. Again, we're going to see multiple ultimates. Like, Bone Cold has now got another orbital strike to try and give them an opening. On this map especially, well, you can clear out so many angles. Izzy's just trapped. He either has to die or back away, and well, he's going to choose the latter, surprisingly.
Oh, that was through the smoke. Zeke up on top, takes down Turco. Rust is trying to recover, but he can only get the first. This is looking very shaky for Supermassive Blaze, and another response from ACEND. The res comes in, a 5v3 that they have to fight their way back into. Seekers revealing their positions, all the information to play with, all the manpower for ACEND, and even the weaponry sitting in their favor with Brave sat down. And the Spectre, nice kill by Izzy.
If that could make the difference. This was looking almost like, well, a definite set. Like, going for this just seemed impossible, but the fact that they've caught out the flank, it gives them a little bit more space to try and make it to the side. Pora, okay. He's going to pick off one already, but they haven't cleared Zeke from the angle. The paint shell will hold them back a little bit longer. Pora hitting every shot he can, but they just don't have the time. And it just seems like whenever there's an opportunity for SuperMassive Blaze to finally get themselves a couple of rounds in a row, ultimates are there for ACEND to just win it for them.
Now, I'm really curious coming into this round now for SuperMassive Blaze, how do they commit the Viper's Pit? They're going to start out with that available, and to be honest, it's one of the things that I would look at as being a difference maker in helping them secure these sites, because they have not been able to hold on to control. You saw how good... Oh, he was flashed as well. That's disgusting. You saw just how good their retake was there. They managed to pick this team apart, a team that was in a 5 versus 3 with the spike planted, and they only got out with one player alive. That is huge for SuperMassive Blaze. The problem is, they need to do that earlier.
Yeah, and they need to do it when it's not going to obliterate their own economy as well. When they're in a spot now where one of their players has a pistol, another still has the SMG from the previous round, and on the other side, full buy.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely not the ideal scenario. I'm surprised we still don't see Viper's Pit committed. They're actually looking to fight Hookah instead. And we've seen this again and again from Pora and Turco. So far, though, whenever they've gone for it, there's been no one around. And it's the same thing this time. ACEND avoiding all those early flashes, avoiding the early utility, and just playing such a slow game.
Okay, you finally get it put down.
There we
It's
go.
going to be onto the B site. Now, I will say that in a lot of the rounds, I think we've seen the vulnerabilities when it comes to A. A lot of the closer rounds have ended up on this B site. Is he not going to be able to connect? I would have expected him to hit that. There's been a few of those this game where it's like, I expect him to get those kills.
Yeah, good position to counter the A execute we'd seen before, and the wall was down, but it is in fact a B play. Oh, the fire is down on the site. The wall bang is good. Pora fighting from inside his Viper's Pit. He wants to stop them from getting onto the site. He's good for 2, but it's all he can do. The shutdown of ACEND makes this a little bit more doable, though, with Zeke and Killes trying to get it done.
Yeah, they've locked down the spawn, and especially when it's Izzy trying to come through it. Like, you telling me he's going to run through the Viper's Pit with an op? Like, that's a horrible spot to be in. I feel like Russ has to do everything, and he's going to take so much damage. He runs into the snakebite. Now, sure, he doesn't actually have 1 HP, but he almost has to try and find the player within this ultimate. And Russ, as said, he needs to do a lot, and that is the ult down.
That's going to be Zeke, stuck in the corner. The reveal won't quite catch him, but the fight, it gives away his position. He has to run down the clock. The operator swinging in to take him down. Zeke is trying to avoid it, jumping up and down, and it actually works. Although the shot comes in from Izzy, the time is far too low. ACEND are up to 8.
He's an absolute rat. And that's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen anyone do. It's like, oh, you want to hit me with the op? I'll just jump up and down. So there's nothing for you to see anymore. Red Bull clutch coming through again. We've had a few of those back-to-back, and I have to say, Zeke has been at the heart of pretty much all of them. The man is on fire today. He's one of those players that we saw come in, for people who don't know, as a swap deal. Like, it was like, okay, you get to have Zeke, we'll take your in-game leader, we'll take Cold Mentor away to G2. And this man, like, we'll see how G2 do in this tournament. I think that'll be the true test of both of these rosters. But this man has made ACEND look so much better than they ever did.
We're going to get a showstopper right off the rip. They're just looking to go in for some aggressive duels up against pistols and a single operator. And the shot's not going to land. Zeke falls. Showstopper finds nothing. And now ACEND quickly turn tail towards the B site. They realize they'd seen a couple players too many. And so the B site will be the weakness. But it looks like SuperMassive Blaze might get there first.
If they can delay them even a little bit, it could make things so much more difficult. And I think, again, ACEND are going to realize, okay, this all in play is just not going to be worth it. They already had the idea that someone's rotating. I would say they've over-rotated, though. Lurk. Like, Bone Cold is just going to walk into A, and there is no one here. They have all left. They've taken a big risk on the gamble rotation, and it's not gone great.
It's the pack mentality, right? When you've got these weapons, these pistols around an operator, you want to just move together as a unit. And ACEND have read that perfectly. Bone Cold, the lurking IGL, starts to feel it out and see, hey, you know what? These guys, they fully rotated. They've left the site. Let's try. This is our best chance to get the round. But they still have a lot to play against. You have an operator. You have a Vandal on the other side. And SuperMassive Blaze even go in and pop that Blade Storm. Izzy giving the off to Turco, but he can't get out, and he gets caught up! A wall, a gap in the wall that they could never have seen coming! Poor is left alone. That was a chance, an opportunity for Supermassive Blaze, but again, ACEND step it up to claim a 9th.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking. The worst thing about that is as well, I can almost guarantee this, ACEND did not mean to leave that gap in the wall.
Probably not.
Absolutely not. There's no way. But this is the difference between a lot of teams and ACEND. They make a mistake by not placing the wall that blocks everything off, and then they use it to win them the round. Yeah, like, who else does that?
They adapt, and that's one of the things I can tell you, watching that, I've seen it. I'm thinking back to like Alliance versus BDS, and I saw so many things that were little mistakes that happened on the other side, but they would then go, oh, okay, I kind of messed this up, but what can we do with it? How can we make this work to our advantage? And ACEND are one of the best teams in the world at making that happen. This time, the aggression in through Hookah is finally going to come through, and Izzy's able to claim the first before going down. Turco with a huge whiff, and that could cost them massively. Hunter's Fury connecting quite a few pulses, but they've lost the sight. And again, it's going to have to be a retake with a man disadvantage.
I'm not too much of a believer in these at this stage. The Cosmic Divide has been in for an incredibly long time, but will it... Okay. Starzo's just got walking across. He's been caught. It gave them something, but the rest of the players are a little bit far behind. Brave almost going in solo, and it still puts them with a disadvantage on this retake. Poor, he's been one of the shining lights for this squad so far. A second kill to give them a chance, but it's the 1 versus 1. It needs to be Rust, normally so good in these clutches, but not this time. It's Zeke with another Red Bull clutch, but who's surprised?
Well, we have seen Supermassive Blaze make some drastic changes. And so far, Tom, I think it's fair to say it has not worked out. 2 rounds at the halftime. This is going to be incredibly tough for them as they try to now make it work on the attack. Maybe we'll see something from their Sova Sky comp. Maybe we'll see them unlock their true potential. But so far, it's leaving a lot to be desired.
Yeah, luckily for us, though, Mitch, I've heard that there's a genius, like a legend of the scene, who is waiting around to give us a little bit more context. So if that's available to us, I don't know, should we give it over?
Well, you know what? Why not? We've got Bala over on the Ivy as he's ready to give us some beautiful rundowns. Let's see what he's got for us.
Oh, guys, I got plenty. This is ridiculous. I don't know how we're starting here. This is probably the scariest start to a tournament for, anybody who's looking to actually make a run here, because ACEND looks dominant and all their players are firing on all cylinders for this first half. Let's take a look at the pistol. We're going to hop into Telestration on the minimap because they have 3 different Viper walls. You can see I labeled this ACEND's Viper walls. 3 different Viper walls. The first one is actually uncommon. It goes right across the site. That allows them to get through into the cubby and through out of bathroom as well. And that forces players to actually try to play in front down the line. But the other ones, the common ones, you go across lamps, that's actually a circle. We got the one that goes across lamps, and then the other one that they use like that. So let's go ahead and roll the clip and talk about basically how they control this. ACEND grabs the orb in bathroom all the way back here in the beginning of the round, and that's important. Starkshow's going to plant the spike all the way back there.
On their attack. Now they swap over to the defense. Let's keep in mind as well, Supermassive Blaze opted to start in that defense. They made a lot of changes to their composition. And like we said, they ain't really seen a lot from it so far.
Maybe it's pretty good on the attack, This is given the benefit of the doubt. Got to be a little bit hopeful in these sort of scenarios. A lot of aggression again. This is something that we're going to see an awful lot when it comes to this side of Bayern. Zeke looking almost to battle initially, but is held back. And of course, they've got their own screen, which just gives them the ability to not only flash through, but go for these cheeky peeks and then fall back again.
The pistol round is always paced pretty quickly from what we've seen so far. Supermassive Blaze, though, slowed down by some early peaks by utility, like that nade coming down on long, but they will still ultimately look to finish on the B side. There is a 3-man stack here, and a nasty close position by Starzo. He's going to flash out and confirm there's still some players there, and he's playing contact on his teammate. Oh, never mind. He's getting pushed on. Horror's already in. He's taken down 2. The third on backside goes his way as well. This was a pistol round that Supermassive Blaze desperately needed if they're to have any shot of taking this map and making the massive comeback. And now they're in a 4v2 that they surely can't lose.
They'll clear Turco out. I don't think it's going to matter too much, though. Only 1 man standing, and ACEND will fall. And it almost seems like one of those IGL situations where Pora's just gone, fine. I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
It just goes straight through. It just kills everyone. A sick pistol from him. I will say the pop flash coming out from Turco was just on point. Like, there was no chance for Starzo to get absolutely anything done. But the problem I have is, other than that, I don't think Turco's look particularly comfortable on this agent. Like, he's normally someone, Mitch, who puts up insane numbers, especially on his Sage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, we said it before we started. You were saying it, Thomas. This is the first time ever playing this agent in an official game.
I hope that's right.
Well, Tom said it, so come after me.
It must be.
When it comes to ACEND right now, they've got 10 rounds. They're not going to be too worried. This should be an easy farm up for the SuperMassive Blaze side. It's all just classics, a few sheriffs here and there. Zeke good to take down one, but he'll be traded out nicely right afterwards. And well, SuperMassive Blaze don't really want to lose any more bodies in this.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to have too much cost when it comes to their bonus round, especially when you consider that there really isn't much invested into this at all. Still fairly tentative from SuperMassive Blaze. They've won the early duels. They don't really need to take too many risks, and I think the only way that they, well, make some serious mistakes is just by not checking their corners, which, you know what, after killing that many players, I don't know if they'll necessarily expect killers to be here. That flash, however, gives the game away.
I like the little Starzo getting a taste of his own medicine, really, right? We saw in round 3 the same thing happened to him that he inflicted on SuperMassive Blaze when he flashed out, and they managed to make it work with the weaker weapons, and now he's really starting to feel like, or really starting to get a taste of what it's like to play against these Sky players when they're flashing through your smokes. You're never safe.
Yeah, for sure. I think Starzo as well has been one of the players that I think I've enjoyed watching most on Sky, especially from EMEA. I think you can put people like Solcast also within that bracket. I think he's almost, it's like an evolution of Solcast playing that agent. But I also really enjoy watching Ethan play it. So I'm hoping that we might get some sort of matchup later on in the tournament. Of course, that does revolve around certain teams qualifying to the next stage. So especially within Group A, that's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, there's always going to be players that we want to see, but you don't know. I don't know if you'll ever get to see that head-to-head. At the mercy of the tournament format for that one. Now we're at 10-4. SuperMassive Blaze winning the pistol, winning the second, but now look at how seriously they're taking this round. They've got their 2 Vandals to play with ACEND, win the early duel with Bora going down. The pressure being applied through middle. The spray for Zeke doesn't actually land, but the trade is quickly found. ACEND maintaining their man advantage. Killaz is going to give up a lot of control, and as that Wolf goes in, the Tiger is returned on the other side. Brave desperately wants to get this done up close. The Spectre in play, but now he's forced into a ranged fight. Tickled up as Killaz takes him down. A 3 versus 2, a 4 versus 2 in fact emerges. CNET on 8 HP yet again. The man is not having a good time when it comes to being tagged up, but it looks like they are making quick work of this low buy round.
Not overfacing, a few low players as well on the other side. I think even an extra kill here for SuperMassive Blaze would be good. If they win it, well, okay. Not sure that flash went exactly to plan. Just popped in his teammate's face.
Here they come. Here they come.
Died. Are they all going to go through together?
They're rallying through. This is going to be a team TP. You're dropping pistols in just to let them know we're on our way, buddy. There's a couple of us who want to say hi to you, and a flash comes in first. Still, though, they haven't followed through. They're waiting. A second flash perhaps being primed in a number of seconds. He's giving him a Vandal! He's giving him a Vandal! He's throwing. They're giving him 2! Hey, buddy, take our weapons. We've got nothing left. We'll come and knife you. What is this?
They 100% don't know that he has an SMG. There is no way they know he has an SMG because they've just given him a rifle upgrade. Are they just going to leave him?
What?
So he's just going to get an upgrade?
Oh my god, I've never seen someone ego so much. Hey, buddy, you want to save? Don't save a Spectre.
Have a better
Take our Vandal. It's 11-4. We don't give a damn. That's ACEND for you. They're already bringing their personality.
No way
They're letting them know. That's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. Oh my.
Mitch's dream, just Reaver Vandals coming through the teleport. Like, please give me one.
Are there any Riot gun buddies on them?
I don't know. I do know a man to ask though.
Don't start. Don't start. It's 11-4 right now. ACEND bounced right back, but SuperMassive Blaze did keep their economy relatively in check. One player player can't buy, but it's Izzy. And of course, you already heard, he doesn't want any people in his way. He called it out right at the start. Bladestorm's online.
Already though, an early lockdown of the hookah position leaves this as a bit of an awkward attack spot. Now they've taken a lot of control in towards long, but again we're going to see this early three-man stack into the B site. The remaining players just waiting patiently, still having the screen as an opportunity to back off. And ACEND, well, he's going hunting. He's facing into Brave, the only player you'll ever see with a Phantom on their side, but he gets the close range battle.
Yeah, you can see he was expecting them to be slightly further down, aiming at the torso as they came around. It's going to be a bit of an awkward position for Starzo. The flash lands, but none of the bullets do. And ACEND, you might not think it, but they're on a full buy here. Supermassive Blaze just completely running over them and finding that B site with ease. 2 players left, Zeke and Killez, and they will be looking to save, maybe find some exits along the way.
Yeah, I'm still looking at the HP as well. They are being healed up, but there was about 4 players around 20 to 50 HP. So it was a little bit closer for ACEND, but yeah, big fight back for Supermassive Blaze, winning those openers, expecting the aggression of their opponents. And I don't think the credits are going to be in the greatest of spots for ACEND in the next round. So we are going to witness them try and save some of that extra weaponry. One of them being a judge, though, so, well, I guess if he's going to play hookah in the next round, it's not too much of a problem.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, Zeke is going to be more than comfortable working with that. He might even try to make a quick play to the B side after the spike shrinks back up, but I don't think he's going to get close enough to gain anything. There you go. He's going to be... Oh, no. They don't even... Yeah, he knew it was too far away. It's all good. 11-5. Look, Supermassive Blaze definitely not back on the board yet, but there could come a time where ACEND will regret throwing those Vandals through the teleporter.
Yeah, for sure. I won't say it was necessarily the difference maker in this round, but a nigh on flawless round coming through from Supermassive Blaze. So they're going to be in a very good spot financially for this one. They can get those few extra upgrades they need. Of course, Izzy not actually having a gun in the last spot, but if they can win this round, then yeah, they're going to be able to at least have a chance to fight this one back. Of course, there's always going to be a play being made. The res, oh, it's going to be online, but he might need to bring himself back. Never mind. ACEND, while dodging every single bullet, has found one through the smoke. Bear in mind, he's using a Vandal, so they know where he is.
Oh, and he's got a second as well. He lit Brave down to 40 health, stripping him of his armor, and ACEND still looking to go forward. 15 health off him, no armor to play with, no shields whatsoever, but he does not give a damn. Now here comes the Viper Orb. It's going to be blocking off any sort of impact from Bone Cold. Starzo spraying it. Oh, Bone Cold, he's walking into it, and that gives him away. Pora's going to just hunt him down right afterwards, tickles him up, but somehow doesn't take him down, and Bone Cold wins that fight. Low on HP, healed right back up. Supermassive Blaze are finding it hard to get any ground. Eventually, ACEND will fall, but there is so much left to do.
I've been gobsmacked by pretty much every single kill ACEND has got in this round. 2 of them, 1 player spraying against 4 through smoke, and then the other is just a battle that I would have bet a lot on Pora winning that one. Instead, they're going to try to go for the rotation, and although there's currently nobody in the area other than Zeke, who's a little bit further behind, it's still going to be a real issue for them. The rotation already coming in. I think the teleporter actually ended up as a bit more of a burden than anything else, but they might not expect 2 players, and I don't think it's going to matter. Zeke will close it out using the shotgun to his advantage, and ACEND are 1 round away from taking their map.
ACEND reaching 12. I mean, this... I can't say it's a surprising scenario. It really isn't. Last time we saw these teams play...
How?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Last time we saw these teams play, we ended up in a position where ACEND took the first map pretty easily, but then they didn't look comfortable on Split. Now the difference is they don't have Split up next. Supermassive Blaze won't have as easy of a time necessarily when they move to map number 2. At the same time, you heard from Kukuka earlier, there are a couple of weaknesses there for ACEND when it comes to ACEND. And I think in particular, looking at their games versus Illuminar, G2, these are teams that, playstyle-wise, I can definitely see Supermassive Blaze replicating.
Yeah, I think as well that Supermassive Blaze are going to be fine going into that map. I would say it's their best map, so realistically they're going to be incredibly confident. Bone Cold they're just fighting on the edge of these smokes, fighting around the smokes, and there's going to be a peek hit. He's just hitting every single shot. Ultimate online. He can now deny them any extra space if they try to go for this quicker push. That's exactly what he's going to do. They've been forced out of position. The spam will get 2 from Starzo. This map is done. Russ needs to clutch out a 1 versus 4.
Yeah, nice orbital strike, pushes them out of position, they spam them up. Nothing you can do about that one. Russ wants to be sure he can reload, pops the recon into the smoke, but here's the flash, no peek after. Starzo's gonna wait and walk on through the smoke. Getting himself around the edge. Oh, Russ was ready for it, but it didn't matter. 13-5, and even more dominant showing out of ACEND this time, and that was with some tomfoolery, Tom.
Yeah, this is one of those things where they've literally like switched up the entirety of their comp to try and beat them. They knew this matchup was coming for quite a while. They tried to fix their bind against an incredibly strong bind team, and they got beaten worse.
Yeah.
It's not a good sign.
What was that move from Bone Cold? I gotta